Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are going to completely dismantle your preconceived notions about one of the most incredibly diverse and, honestly, frequently misunderstood regions on the entire planet. We're talking about Pakistan. I want you to just forget the headlines and the stereotypes for a second, because by the time we wrap up this journey, you're going to see a landscape, a history, and a culture that literally rivals the most famous travel destinations on Earth.
So let's dive right in. What actually comes to mind when you think of Pakistan? Seriously, I want you to honestly consider your blind spots here. Most of us picture something very specific, usually shaped by the evening news. But what if I told you that hiding within these borders are some of the tallest mountains on Earth, freezing golden deserts, ancient civilizations, and a deeply rich, multi-faith history? Get ready because your perspective is about to be entirely shifted.
Let's start by establishing a profound historical baseline, because Pakistan's roots go deep. I mean, way deep. Back in 3300 BCE, the Indus Valley civilization was thriving here. To put that into perspective, that actually predates ancient Egypt by over 200 years. Moving along the timeline, we hit Mohenjo-Daro, which was literally one of the first planned cities in human history. Then, skipping ahead to the 1st century, we have the Takhti Baha'i Buddhist monastery showing off this era of incredibly rich Buddhist art. And right up to the 14th century, you've got the Makli Acropolis. That's the largest cemetery in the world, basically 10 times the size of the Giza Acropolis. This isn't just history, folks, it's the cradle of human civilization.
Now, the sheer contrasts defining this country are absolutely staggering. Pakistan is truly a land of extremes. Just imagine standing in dense alpine meadows, completely dwarfed by over 100 peaks that exceed 7,000 meters in height. That's massive. Now take that freezing, snow-capped image and flip it to vast, sun-baked deserts, all within the exact same national borders. And culturally, it's just as dynamic. Serving as the ultimate crossroads of the ancient Silk Road, this rich heritage is literally still moving today through Pakistan's famous truck art. These are bold, colorful, rolling canvases carrying poetry and goods all across the nation.
Section 1. The Roof of the World, Gilgit-Baltistan. Let's start our spatial journey at the very top of the map. 8,611. That is the height, in meters, of K2. It's the second highest mountain in the world, and it completely dominates the region where the mighty Himalayas, Karakoram, and Hindu Kush mountain ranges literally collide. The sheer, awe-inspiring scale of this geography, well, it's almost impossible to comprehend until you're actually standing right in its shadow.
Everest usually gets all the glory, right? But while Everest is widely known, K2 remains the extreme adventurer's best-kept secret. It is notoriously more demanding, steeped in this dangerous mystique that challenges even the absolute most elite mountaineers. It's a raw, untamed giant that doesn't just invite climbers in, it practically dares them.
Now, what's really interesting about this is a fascinating scientific anomaly happening right here in the ice. It's called the Karakoram anomaly. While glaciers across the surrounding Himalayas, and honestly the rest of the globe, are rapidly melting, the glaciers here are actually remaining stable. In some cases, they're actively advancing. It's this bizarre, completely fascinating geographical defiance driven by unique local climatic conditions. Nature totally plays by its own rules here.
So, how exactly do you navigate this massive icy expanse? You take the Karakoram Highway. We are talking about a 1,300-kilometer engineering masterpiece. This road is literally carved into the mountains, tracking the ancient Silk Road, and tragically, it claimed over 800 lives to build. Your journey starts by crossing the world's highest paved border crossing at the Khunjerab Pass at nearly 4,700 meters. Then you descend into the Hunza Valley to explore the 900-year-old Altat Fort, right before arriving at a very special, very high-altitude body of water. That body of water is Adabad Leak, and the story here is a striking example of tragedy literally transforming geography. Back in 2010, a massive landslide blocked the Hunza River, which tragically displaced thousands of people. But from that disaster emerged this surreal 21-kilometer stretch of vivid turquoise water. Today, sitting up at 2,500 meters, it has completely changed the landscape and serves as a vital, booming economic and transportation hub for the entire region. Now, if turquoise lakes high in the mountains aren't surprising enough for you, consider the concept of cold deserts. We're talking about places like Kutpana and Sarfaranga. Just think about the sensory juxtaposition for a second. You are standing on shifting golden sand dunes, but the winter air is freezing cold, and you are entirely surrounded by towering, icy, snow-capped mountains at an altitude of over 2,200 meters. It feels like an impossible image, but it's 100% real. And the Skardu region just keeps delivering incredible biological and geographical diversity. You've got the 16th century Skardu fort standing guard over the valley. Further out, Nanga Parbat, the infamous Killer Mountain, just absolutely dominates the skyline. Then you hit the dense, kind of surreal pine forests of Fairy Meadows. And finally, there's Deosai National Park. This is a staggering 3,000 square kilometer plateau sitting at 4,000 meters high. It's known as the Land of Giants, and it's actually a protected sanctuary where endangered Himalayan brown bears roam freely.
Section 2. Punjab's Cultural Tapestry, the Heart of Pakistan.
We're shifting our explainer southward now, leaving those rugged, freezing altitudes of the north and entering the fertile, heavily populated plains where spiritual and cultural roots run incredibly deep. Just look at the immense scale of these multi-faith historical sites. The Fazl Mosque in Islamabad is designed like this vast Bedouin tent and can actually hold 100,000 worshippers at once. Then there's the UNESCO World Heritage Lahore Fort, featuring the Shish Mahal, which is this mesmerizing, intricate palace of mirrors. And of course, the Kutus Raj temples, a 1,500-year-old Hindu pilgrimage site built right around a sacred pond that, according to myth, was formed from Lord Shiva's tears. The architectural timeline here is just staggering.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer duality of the country. On one hand, you have the high north, raw, isolated, and totally dominated by extreme nature and jagged mountain ranges. But then, you step into the cultural heart, cities like Lahore and Multan, pulsing with 2,000 years of history. Here, vibrant Sufi traditions, stunning shrines covered in intricate blue tilework, and bustling city streets show a completely different, deeply human rhythm of life.
Section 3. Deserts to the Sea, the Southern Expanse.
For our final act, we're journeying even further south, crossing the jaw-dropping Fort Munro Steel Bridge right into the heat and the sand. Out here, you find these colossal, ancient hubs of military and trade. Take Darawar Fort. It features 40 towering, sun-baked brick bastions that have dominated the Cholistan desert skyline all the way since the 9th century. Then there's Ranikot Fort, literally known as the Great Wall of Sind. It's a massive 32-kilometer wall, snaking like a dragon spine right across the rugged hills, and its exact origins are actually still shrouded in mystery. They're basically awe-inspiring sentinels of the sand.
As we map out our path through Balochistan, which, by the way, is Pakistan's largest and most rugged province, we finally hit the Arabian Sea. We start at the vital deepwater port of Gwadar, and from there, we trace the Makran Coastal Highway. This is a 650-kilometer drive along these incredibly dramatic, untouched coastal cliffs. It's widely considered to be one of the most scenic drives in the entire world, and this highway leads us directly to our grand finale, Hingol National Park.
Hingol is basically an unfiltered glimpse into a seemingly alien world. Spanning over 6,000 square kilometers, the wind here has sculpted rocks into these crazy, dramatic figures like the Princess of Hope. The park is also home to the massive Chandragut mud volcanoes. Yet, just like the rest of Pakistan, raw nature blends perfectly with intricate multi-faith history. Because right here in the park is the sacred Hindu Hinglaj Mata temple. It's an absolutely incredible convergence of natural power and deep spiritual significance.
We're going to wrap up this explainer with a quote from the renowned Pakistani poet Allama Iqbal, "Beyond the stars are worlds yet to be explored." Pakistan perfectly exemplifies this idea, doesn't it? It proves just how much incredible beauty, deep history, and sheer geographic scale remains vastly unexplored and, frankly, misunderstood by the wider world. So taking all of this in, from the ancient ruins of the Indus Valley to the freezing peaks of K2 to the golden sands of the south, what other magnificent corners of our world are you currently leaving entirely in your blind spot?